Hello, my name is Marcus, and welcome to my channel. Finally, one of the most anticipated movies of the year, Superman, has finally hit theaters, and we went to go see it last night. Overall take, first impressions, first thought. Very, very lighthearted compared to the Man of Steel, the entire Snyderverse version of the character. It really brought me back to my childhood, back to those early comic books, kind of like the original Justice League cartoon. Not really the Super Friends. I was more 90s kid, so it really reminded me of the Adventures of Superman. And this is a great thing. Listen, I love the Henry Cavill Superman. I loved Man of Steel. Honestly, I thought that was the best Superman movie of all time. But this, I kind of understand this more lighthearted, goofier version of the character. Not really goofy, but just a more relevant to a younger audience or a younger generation. This was a great hero-esque take on the character. I feel like the core, aspect or basis of Superman is him being a righteous, him finding the most necessary way to deal with evil, to deal with impurity, to deal with injustice. I really enjoyed the modern take on this. Like he's stopping a war, but was stopping a war, was that the best course of action for all parties involved? No, of course not. To Superman, the only thing that he believes he's doing is just stopping people from dying. Now, of course, to Superman, that's all should matter, right? But if you look at it from a political standpoint, might be some quirks and screws in there that kind of prevents national security or could jeopardize our safety in another way if you stop this war in general. It's a very interesting take. It's a very modern take, believe it or not, especially with the inclusion of social media. You got to credit James Gunn's writing style for this. Speaking of James Gunn, it's funny how like you see numerous movies from one specific director and you kind of get the gist of how they write their scripts or how they involve their stories. It definitely felt like a James Gunn movie. This kind of felt like a Superman Guardians of the Galaxy movie with the inclusions of the characters, the group activity, being able to write multiple characters, working within one another at the same time. It's really good, man. I enjoyed all of Superman's partnerships within this movie as well. I feel like there wasn't really one character in the entire experience where I was like, why is he here? Or why is she here? David Sweat's performance. Let's talk about it. So I'm a Henry Cavill guy. I'm also a Tyler from the CW guy as well. I think Tyler's performance from the Superman and Lois, that's my personal favorite. It's to the point now where like it's almost apples and oranges. It's almost not fair to compare David's performance to Henry and Tyler's yet. That's the most recent too, because he's only one movie in. It's almost like you really need 2 or 3 movies or a show per se to really do a comparison of the performance. But what he gave us in the Superman was great. I can't complain about it at all. I mean, he looks like the character, he's built like the character, and he reminded me of the Superman the animated series. Krypto was there. Krypto had a lot of screen time. His performance and partnership with Krypto really gave me that goodwill feeling. It made me feel like a kid, made me feel like I was watching a boy and his dog just take on the world together. A little bit nitpicky. That was a lot of Krypto. I don't know if I needed that much Krypto, but cute dogs are gonna win you over every time. My theater kind of gasped when Krypto got punched when Lex and the crew broke into the Fortress of Solitude. They did. People love their dogs. There was no difference here for sure. I'm very happy with the inclusion of Krypto. I am. It's kind of the first time in any live action movie where he's gotten a huge appearance. So you cannot be angry about that at all. Krypto is a core partner of Superman, right next to the Justice League themselves. So it's really good. I feel like the Superman Krypto partnership is definitely the foundation of the movie. If that partnership doesn't work, then you really don't even have a starting point for the movie itself. And of course, you gotta love Krypto for the humor aspect he brought to the movie as well. Like I said, just a boy playing with his dog. Very funny. Gotta love it. Nicholas House's Lex Luthor. Let's talk about it. I enjoyed his performance, man. Is it my favorite Lex Luthor? It's toughie. It's a toughie. I think the Lex Luthor from the Justice League and the animated Superman will always be my personal favorite. When it comes to the live action Lex Luthors, I'd say that the dude from Superman and Lois really, grinded my gears as well. He really did a phenomenal job of producing that mincing look for Lex Luthor. It's almost like, what are the qualities of Lex Luthor that are the most memorable? Definitely the breaming overconfidence. And it's like he kind of had it, but when stuff started to fall apart, something about it just felt a little weird, especially spoilers, when he kind of starts crying at the end, when like the news is looking at him and as like a terrible person. It's like, I get what they were going for there, but it's just not my favorite. And that's not at all saying that his performance was bad. I think he was just going with how he was directed. I think that's more script than actor-isms, if that makes sense. I'm not mad at the performance. He did exactly what he needed to do to portray Lex Luthor, I believe, how James Gunn wanted him to be portrayed. It's like the brimming confidence is there, but it has not been fully established yet. It's almost like he needs a couple of more movies in, because he was so confident that he was going to beat Superman, and then when he loses, he just pretty much falls apart completely. And then we know Lex Luthor is like, even when he loses, it's like, I'll be right back. But there's just something worth noting for sure. The best Lois Lanes, in my opinion, are the ones that challenge Clark Kent slash Superman to be the best version of himself possible. And Rachel Bronson's version of Lois Lane definitely fits that bill for sure. We know that you're the Man of Steel. We know you're the greatest superhero of all time. But, are you sure you're making all of the correct decisions? You need to be sure that when you go after somebody, they're actually, causing harm to somebody. Their interests are not the best for the people. Their interests are not for the good of mankind. Before you just go and Superman them, we need to be fully understanding of what we're doing here. Basically imposing your will on an organization or people or one person. In my opinion, the core foundation of the Lois Lane character is to be the moral compass of Superman, is keeping him grounded, keeping him human, keeping him making the correct decisions, or not going off the deep end, not going too far. And Rachel does an amazing job of portraying that aspect of Lois Lane, and I could not have asked for anything more of her. Honestly, she's probably my favorite live action version of Lois Lane, because that has always been my favorite aspect of her character. Mr. Goddamn Terrific. You gotta love it, man. Cool powers? Check. Cool personality? Check. Cool partner? Check. Cool guy that realizes that Superman is just trying to help the Earth and not trying to enslave it? Check. That's all you can want. This dude has some super cool powers. He has 4 scientific orbs that float around him and kind of act as homing missiles and beacons to fight off enemies. They can provide shields, to super cool powers in general. I really enjoyed his character. I hope we see more of him in future movies for sure. And the funny thing is, I had never even interacted with this character before. This was kind of my first interaction with him, so happy to see his debate in a live action format. Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, or douchebag Green Lantern, whichever one you want to call him. Cool powers, cool representation of the Green Lantern Corps, cool representation of the Justice Guild gang, whatever you want to call him. I enjoyed his character. He provided a really cool, humorous aspect to the Guy Gardner Green Lantern character. I feel like that is a full representation of how the Guy Gardner character is represented in the comics, so you can't even really complain about the non-serious that we are used to with the Hal Jordan or the Jon Stewart characters. This is how Guy Gardner acts. So I think when they continue on with the future of the Green Lantern franchise or the movies or this new DC take of movies, I don't think Guy Gardner is going to be the core Green Lantern. I think he was just the introduction of what is going to be, of how to make the Green Lantern Corps cool. And then I think that's when, we already have an announcement of a Jon Stewart Green Lantern coming for the Green Lantern movie. Of course, Hal Jordan is going to be there as well. So very excited to see what that is going to partake in. Isabella Marcera's hot girl. I really loved her character in this. I think I was a little bit biased for her performance though, because I literally just watched her as Dina and The Last of Us. And y'all know me, I'm a PlayStation guy. I really enjoyed The Last of Us series. So it's almost like I didn't even really judge her based off of her performance. I was just happy just to see her get an eclipse of her career going from TV show to movie, going from Dina to Hot Girl. It's really super cool, man. I'm just happy for her in general. I really am. I really enjoyed her action scenes for sure. You know, it's kind of reminded me of the Hot Girl from the Justice League animated series. She had the mason toe. The mask looked really cool. Outfit, kind of subpar, if I'm being completely honest. It just kind of looked like Dina in a Hot Girl cosplay outfit, if I'm being truthful with myself. But like I said, I just biased, man. I don't care. I was just happy to see her. That's all it is to it. Ma and Pa Kent extremely lighthearted here, especially compared to their Man of Steel counterparts, almost to a fault. There was one part of Man of Steel that I always disliked. It was Pa Kent sacrificing himself and not letting Clark save him from the tornado. Kind of the complete opposite here. You know, the Kents are still very much alive, kind of like how they were in the animated series again. And one of my favorite parts of the movie was Pa Kent giving like a pep talk to Clark, you know, informing him of how proud of him he was and everything that he had done thus far. Because we know that there is a 3-year time skip from when Clark revealed himself as Superman compared to the time of the movie. And it just made me happy. It almost brought tears to my eyes. It really did. Because, you know, that's what every son or boy wants to hear from his father, is that he's just proud. That's the best thing ever. It really is. Out of all of the Daily Planet characters, Jimmy Olsen was absolutely my favorite. He brought a great comedic element to the screen, and I'm very thankful for that, truly. You know, the Chief also brought some comedy aspect as well. He made a slight comment with Superman and Lois after the battle was done, and, you know, Superman was like, "Come on, Lois, let's go do this interview," and he flat out was like, "Huh, how long have they been hooking up?" Gotta love that. Just pure comedy. Just way more lighthearted, man. Really is. So, as we know, it is a Superman film, and you have to give him enemies that's strong enough to fight, that makes sense. So we have this one on the left that can articulate her body into whatever she sees fit, kind of like a dark version of a Green Lantern. She can make swords and knives and spinning blades, and she can input viruses into the body. Pretty cool techniques. You know, she took like her virus parts and injected it into Superman's lungs. That's a pretty cool talent. You know, of course he was able to get out of it, but, you know, still cool nonetheless. And of course, you have the typical clone of Superman, that Bizarro style. Not Bizarro exactly, but just, you know, how the hell else are you going to fight Superman? He's so strong. He's the strongest hero ever. So best thing to fight him is Lex Luthor created a clone to try to take him down. Didn't work, of course. But nevertheless, it was still a cool fight, and probably one of the coolest fights, Superman style, that I've ever seen. I really enjoyed the flight aspects of the fighting. I definitely don't just want to blow past this. I want to focus a little bit on the choreography of Superman's flight paths. You know, this is probably the best version of showcasing the flight control of Superman. You know, he's 3 years in. He has full control of his flying. I thought it was super cool that they can show him flying and be able to stop on a dime completely, then fly up, fly back down, fly to the side, do a 360. You know, that takes some really cool ingenuity and CGI and just aspects of the production crew. So I definitely want to give them a shout out for that, for sure. You know, this is showcased in the fight with the clone. This is showcased in the fight when he's fighting the big dragon monster. Super cool fight scene as well, especially with Superman trying not to kill the beast, where, you know, the Green Lantern and the Justice Gang, you know, pretty much just blow him up, where Superman was trying to save him and just capture him. But just it's really cool aspect. The fight choreography of a Superman film is always a difficult thing to master. Especially, I feel like that was one of the more difficult things that it even took the Snyderverse to try to get right. That was always one of my biggest issues with Superman v Batman. The fight just looked dumb. I wasn't a fan of it. I don't know, didn't like it. But here, you know, this is definitely the best Superman fight scenes I think I've ever seen, for sure. I'll definitely give it that. It was one scene in particular that I absolutely love. Superman, when he was fighting a horde of Luthor's army, he did a lightning fast 360 laser beam kamikaze attack on like 50 something dudes and took them all out in an instant. That's easily one of the coolest live action Superman scenes that I have ever seen out of any Superman formatted interpretation ever. Shout out for that. We need way more of that. It was super cool, man. Really loved it. Okay, kind of the last character I want to talk about is Metamorpho. That his inclusion for the movie was really interesting as well. He was kind of the catalyst that was used to produce Kryptonite, as it would seem that Kryptonite has been obliterated from this universe, but he can create any matter that he can foretell. So, of course, Luthor kidnapped his son and is forcing him to create the Kryptonite matter to bring down Superman. I definitely found it interesting of the effects that the Kryptonite had on Superman. Definitely the coolest, almost clearly the disease that took its toll on the body of Superman pretty much obliterated it. And I always felt like that was a cool aspect, and I really wanted to mention that before we started to close out here. Now, the only other thing I wanted to mention, music. You know, they took the classic Superman theme from the 70s and finally updated it to a more modern take. Really enjoyed that as well. That definitely brought the childhood aspects and enjoyment of the movie and the character of Superman to the forefront for sure. Superman has never been my favorite comic book character. He's not even my favorite DC character. That will always be Batman. But having this take on Superman brought me back to my childhood. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's not really that much to nitpick. That was every aspect of the film just was lighthearted. It made me feel good. I just enjoyed this entire experience. It's going to be people that don't like it. It's going to be people that hate it. It's going to be people that always prefer the Snyderverse darker take, darker tone of the Man of Steel Superman. I get it. I enjoyed Henry Cavill as well, but y'all know me, I'm always more about looking towards the future of the characters and just being grateful that we still get these types of movies. And from that, I think we'll go ahead and start wrapping it up. I would classify this as a winner. I'm very happy with the work that James Gunn has done here. Everybody was skeptical if he would be able to helm a DC, movie franchise like the Kevin Feige's of the world, what he did for Marvel, with this being the starting point, the focal point of the movie. It's good. I'm very happy with where it's at, and I can't wait to see the next phase. Is it going to be a John Cena Peacemaker movie? I don't know. They certainly gave him a cameo, though, didn't they? That was pretty cool. I found that hilarious. But yeah, man, that's going to do it. So if you had to take away one thing from this review, is that you need to go see this movie, or if you've already seen it, cool. I'm just happy that I could talk about it with you guys. And if you want to comment your thoughts on it, go ahead and feel free to do that. I'm open to discussion on this movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you was it meh for you? Or did you, are you just happy that Superman is back? And we'll continue on. So, okay, that is going to do it for me, my friends. So if you enjoyed my take on Superman 2025, do hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. If you want to see more movie reviews just like this, I cover all of the Marvel, all of the DC, all of the Disney, all of the blockbusters. You're in the right spot. MarkJack79. You can follow me at my channel at youtube.com/MarkJack79. Don't forget, I am also on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thank you for the years of support. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. I know it was a long one, but it was a whole lot to talk about here. It is Superman. So, okay, my friends, love you as always, and I will see y'all on the next one. I'll catch y'all later. Bye. Oh, and if you wanted to know, Supergirl's here too, and she's a party girl now who travels to other planets without a red sun so she can get drunk on the weekends, and Crypto's dog is hers. For anybody that wanted to know.